Hi, my name is Laura, and I'm here to share a set of tactics and tools to improve your content strategy. Today, we will be talking specifically about how to build a powerful content marketing plan. Let's take a look at what that content plan actually includes. And today, I want to suggest 5 different components that you need to think about as you shape this plan. So the first component are your main and supporting channels, defining what's most important to you and which channels will be actually driving traffic to that other central hub. Then you'll need to come up with a set of goals that allow you to focus your resources and time into those strategies that are really going to move the needle for your brand. The third component of that plan is cadence, which is figuring out how often you should and can produce this content. A fourth component are productive workflows. And what I mean by that is just establishing a series of steps that can allow you to produce that content within a reasonable amount of time. And the last and fifth component are the key performance indicators, which are nothing different than just metrics to make sure that we're on the right track and to be able to tell whether we're succeeding or failing. Now let's go back to that first component in the content plan, which is your main and supporting channels. Every time a brand launches a content strategy from scratch, it's important to define which is the main or the central content hub. Where are we going to bring all of that traffic together? And then which are the supporting channels that are just there to assist, to generate all of that traffic? What this looks like for most brands is they'll select some kind of page within their site, usually the blog, where new content is being generated consistently, and use social platforms and other channels to bring attention to that other space. So decide which is your most important channel and have all of the other ones work in coordination to generate traffic in that direction. Now let's look at that second component of the content marketing plan, which is your goals. What are you aiming to accomplish with this content production strategy? I want to propose 5 different sample content goals that are very popular among B2B and B2C brands. And these 5 content goals are generating traffic back to site, which means the reason you're creating content is just to bring all of that attention back to your website and product. 2, to generate signups, which means that you're essentially serving these images, these videos, or these articles so that new users sign up either for content updates or for product updates, with the hope that you can convert them to users on the long run. The third sample content goal that I'll be suggesting today is generating purchases. So once they've felt satisfied with the content you're serving and they're engaged and they know about you, they're more prone to buying the product or service that you offer. The fourth sample goal that I want to introduce is SEO wins. So once you've produced enough content, what that'll do for you, it'll start generating traffic back from search engines, and it'll also start making others in your space notice that you are producing this high quality content, so they'll link back to you. And eventually, over time, all of these little wins will condense into big search engine optimization wins for your brand. So content can also be a driver of organic traffic. And then the fifth and last sample content goal that I'd like to introduce is engagement for retention, which means that even if the people that are reading your content or seeing your videos or looking at your images are already users, they can also feel more engaged and expand their relationship with your brand once they're consuming more and more content. What can this lead to? Well, it can lead to new purchases, repeat purchases, cross-sales, upsales, and all kinds of other relationships that you should be actively looking for among your audience. So engagement for retention is actually a huge reason to pursue a content strategy, even though you might be an established brand at the moment. This last goal can really help you expand the lifespan of your customer and just the average purchase price. For the fourth component in our content marketing plan, we'll be looking at workflows, which are just how you're going to bring all of this to life, how you are going to execute. What you're looking at in the slide right now is a sample workflow for an idea that has gone from being that, just a concept, just an idea, into being a published piece of content. So it'll travel from the stage of idea generation, where you source for the actual concept behind the piece that you're producing. You go out and you curate, you're looking at competitors, you're looking at similar sites, you're looking at what's happening in your space, and you're coming up with those ideas. Then, step 2 of that workflow would be defining a headline or a title that works for that idea that you came up with in the first place. Then you'll assign that piece to someone that's going to be able to produce it. If this is an article, then we're looking at a writer. If it's a video, we're looking at a producer. In the fourth step of this workflow, we're looking at edition. So once the piece has been produced, how are we going to deal with proofreading? How are we going to deal with the edition of the video if it's a video? How are we going to tweak the design? We need to make sure that it's a high quality piece at the end, so this stage is very important. Now, second to last on this workflow is supporting graphics. Once you put this idea out there, it's going to need some visuals to be able to be distributed properly. So if it's a header image, if it's a social graphic, whatever's going to help this idea just spread faster in the online world, that's what this stage is talking about. And then the last stage of this workflow is the actual publishing. So you can come up with workflows like this for every single activity that's contemplated in your content plan. Now, for the last component of our content marketing plan, we'll be looking at key performance indicators, which are nothing else than metrics that we're using to make sure that we're on the right track. Or if we're not on the right track, to figure out where we're failing so that we can fix it early. Now, the different columns that you're looking at in this slide are all various different types of objectives that are linked to the goals that we designed back in the first step of this plan. Now, the column that says traffic is just showing 2 of the most common metrics that brands use to make sure their strategy is working in the right direction, if they need to be tweaking something to make sure that more users are looking at their content. And those 2 metrics specifically are page views and sessions. Page views, as the term implies, is just how many times individual pages in your site are being served. It's just times the pages are being served. It has no relationship to individual users yet or the activity of that users on the site. It's just a raw metric that's telling you how many times the page is being viewed. So it could be viewed multiple times by a single user, for example. Now, sessions, on the other hand, points to the activity of a user on the site. So it is user specific. Once I begin a session on a site, I can look at various pages, engage with various activities, and all of that is being tracked in a single session. Now, you need to look at how your analytics package defines these metrics. As far as sessions go, Google Analytics, for example, says that these are 30-minute long sessions. So whatever happens in those 30 minutes will be grouped as one session. It is possible then to have one session and multiple page views, as you can probably imagine. Now, for the second column, which is signups, these types of metrics are more related to those conversion-driven goals that we talked about at the beginning. So maybe I'm interested in producing content because I want to generate signups for my product or because I want to directly generate revenue. When you're looking at those kinds of goals, these 2 sample metrics can really work for you. One is, of course, the conversion rate. So out of those that are reading your articles or looking at your videos, how many in fact become paying customers? And you can also look at just the raw number of conversions. 50 people read this content and became paying users. And when you do that, you're actually looking at the number of conversions, not the conversion rate. And that's also acceptable, and it's something that certain brands might be interested in looking at. Now, the third column looks at purchases. So not signups, just one step forward in that funnel, which is who actually ended up paying for this product or service after looking at the content. So of course, there's another conversion rate, just the percentage of people that after experiencing the content decided to pay for the product or service. And then there's also another very interesting metric that doesn't point to the amount of people that bought, but to the quality of those purchases, because it speaks about the average purchase amount. So you can have one user that experienced the content and ended up purchasing $5 worth of product, or you can have another one that ended up purchasing $100 worth of product. And you'll have to evaluate and see which interaction is most important to you and which ones you want to encourage. So that average purchase price is a very important metric if you're looking at just raising that number, improving that average purchase amount in the aggregate, and you want to do so through content. Now, the fourth column that we're looking at in this slide, SEO wins, refers back to that content goal of improving your brand's position in search through various of these content strategies. So the first metric that you can look at is PageRank, which is just the way in which a search engine like Google understands how reputable your pages are. So if you're trying to position your site and your brand as a whole, having a blog that speaks about topics related to your space can really help improve that page rank, since other brands are going to start taking note of the fact that you're generating the content, they're going to link back to you, traffic is going to increase, organic traffic is going to increase, and your position in search is hopefully also going to improve. The second metric you can look at as far as SEO goes is inbound links, the amount of sites that are linking back to your content. And as I said before, that'll greatly assist your SEO strategy. Now, for the last column related to key performance indicators and content, we're looking at engagement. We're looking at how this content is actually making people interact and go a step forward in their relationship with you. So this can be tracked in various ways. I am proposing two main metrics here that you can look at very easily. The first one is comments. So these people are so engaged with what you're proposing, so engaged with your videos, so engaged with your articles, that they're taking the time to write something, to ask something, to state something maybe. And these comments show you that your content is alive and well, and it's open and people are participating. And then the last metric on this list is shares. And it's probably one of the most important interactions you can track with content, because I loved your content so much, whatever it is that you pushed out, I loved it so much that I'm willing to share it with my own audience. So now I am distributing for you, I am amplifying your message, and that is a very meaningful step in your relationship with customers. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this video was useful and you're all ready to start your own content marketing plan. If you have any other questions, reach out to me at Laura, Busche, on Twitter, and I'll be happy to help.